You know, I'm trying to think of what my first interaction with Bruce was.
I remember the first time I met Bruce.
I think my first impression of Bruce was just like, wow, that guy looks like a cool guy.
He's really nice, and he's from the Midwest, and I like that because I am too.
And I thought he was adorable, so my first thought was, is he single?
Bruce was intimidating back then. These days you can go onto the town square and see a good old reenactment of a Western shootout. When Bruce first started at TYFS, there were just shootouts.
I used to introduce him as the Citizen of the Year, Month, Week, and Day because Bruce has been my hero for 20 or more years.
He must be really important because in lots of places he shows up and he looks really sharp in his legislative suit. He looks very professional.
He was engaging and compassionate.
I think the image I have in my mind of Bruce that will probably carry forward is just him, you know, running around and just getting things done. He's not doing it for any kudos. He's just doing it because it's the right thing to do and it needs to be done.
Bruce is kind of one of those funny people at TYFS. I think the thing that I appreciate most about Teton Youth and Family Services is that there is a real family feel to the organization and to the staff culture, and I think that's really been fostered by Bruce.
Beyond professionally, I think Bruce served a lot of roles. I think living where we do, most of us are away from family. So there were a lot of times when not only Bruce was my boss, but he also served as a father figure. I guess I like him enough that I've stuck around for this long and we've developed a really nice relationship. So yeah, he's the best boss I've ever had.
If I were describing Bruce as a geological feature, I would say he is a boulder. He is rock solid and powerful.
Gosh, describing Bruce is he's kind of like a waterfall. I think no matter what the terrain would be, he'd find a way around it and down and get to the destination.
The Snake River. And water is essential for life. And yet, as we all know so well, the Snake River has some very turbulent whitewaters. And to have Bruce be able to guide young people through those turbulent times safely and to bring them back to more of a tranquil and calm part of the river. You can see that in their lives.
I think of Old Faithful. When it's in action, it's just awe-inspiring. It's like a force of nature.
The Sleeping Indian. And I thought about this a little bit because I don't think Bruce would want to be grand. Calm, but solid mountain, that solid piece of rock that also is big enough that it really embraces an enormous area in its gentle shadow.
Hard to imagine what Teton Youth and Family Services would be like without Bruce Burkland.
It's difficult to know where to begin of how Bruce has impacted the community because it's been for such a long time on so many levels.
Bruce brings a lot of competence to his position.
He does them for the right reasons. You know, you don't hear him complaining, you just hear him doing.
In my 23 years in Jackson, I've been involved with Teton Youth and Family Services, I believe 12 of those. And in that time, I saw TYFS kind of come out of the shadows. And I believe that was through Bruce's leadership, that it was no longer considered a county organization, that people recognized it as a true nonprofit, independent.
Just thinking Red Top Meadows, the Van Vleck House, after school programming. I've thought about like how many lives has Bruce really touched, how many families has he worked with, how many kids has he impacted.
It's probably hard to quantify Bruce's impact here on the community because it's probably best told through stories of families who've been made whole again by his care and his nurture and his leadership.
He has changed the direction of those lives so that children can grow up to be productive, happy, healthy adults and go on to have healthy, happy families of their own.
And when young men, mostly young men in this situation, would get up and and share their stories and their testimonials for the first time in their life that they had a relationship with an adult. And Bruce delivered that.
His students will know his legacy in one way, but we Wyomingites, we know his legacy by the health and wholeness of our communities. Bruce also leaves a legacy of reminding us that showing up matters.
You know, we hear a lot of people talk in Jackson about, we need to save the soul of Jackson. And I look at you, Bruce, as the soul of Jackson.
I hope I could convey what Bruce means, not only to me, but to a lot of people in the business. So thank you, Bruce, for everything you've done.
I would like to say thank you, Bruce, for contributing your heart and soul to not only our organization, Teton Youth and Family Services, but your impact is much wider ranging. What you have contributed so far to the overall state of Wyoming is absolutely incredible, and it's something you should be very proud of. And know that there are a lot of people that want to be able to continue the work that you've done already and will use you as a model.
That's the true test of a leader. If you can leave an organization stronger than it's ever been, knowing that it will continue to be strong and sustainable.
Your work at Teton Youth and Family Services hasn't always been easy. And I want you to know that you have carried that work with such great character and such dignity, and with just a real sense of the sacred work that it is.
I would just urge you, Bruce, to smell the roses a bit, to look at that organization and see how it's grown in its professionalism.
What I wish from the bottom of my heart is that you feel in the bottom of your heart what a difference you've made with your life. And that this next phase is really just soaking up the remnants and joy of your achievements, putting your head on the pillow at night, knowing your life has made a difference, and I wish you joy.
The advice that I would give to Bruce is I live near his office, and I take my dog for a walk. And I can't tell you how many times I have seen Bruce's car still at the office late at night, on the weekends, basically all hours. So my advice to Bruce is to actually enjoy retirement.
My parting words for you would be, well done, good and faithful servant. I suspect that at Teton Youth and Family Services, they're gonna miss seeing clogs come marching through the offices and the houses of that place, but I expect to hear those clogs hitting the concrete floors here more at St. John's Episcopal Church in Jackson, Bruce.
So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you from all of us who live in this community.
Good luck and Godspeed.